morning, Year 8. I hope you've had a lovely week and you are ready for the weekend. This is your solutions video for week 9 of Learning from Home. Now, you got away easy this week because I accidentally set you the wrong sheet. As you can see in the corner, it says 6 4.4. So this sheet is actually 2 times easier than the ones you've been doing, okay? So hopefully you did really well. I'll still do the solutions video, but in future, tell me if it says 6 in the corner instead of 8, okay? So we'll make sure we're back to the 8 ones next week, okay? But yeah, just enjoy this week. Okay, so first of all, it says find the lowest common multiple of 24 and 16. So that just means it's the lowest number that goes into both times tables, okay? So we'll start with 24. We can just do that as a time, so it goes 24, and then it would go 48. We don't actually need to go any higher than that. So if we did the 16 times table, we'd go 16, we'd go 32, then we'd go 48. Okay, so now we know that the lowest common multiple of those two numbers is indeed 48. Okay, so we can write that as our answer there. Okay, so now it says find the lowest common multiple of 16 and 48. Now this kind of question is a nice one because technically you already know the answer. You've already done the hard work in the previous question. So we know that the third number in the 16 times table is 48, don't we? Because we wrote that here. And obviously 48 is in the 48 times table, so the answer here is once again 48. Okay, so on to the next one. So these just require you to use your bidmus, okay? So do we have any brackets? Nope. Do we have any indices? Nope. No division, but we do have multiplication, okay? So we're going to do this part of the sum first. So 2 times 4 is 8, and then we've got the 4 plus 8, okay? So then we can just do that, and then we end up with 12. Okay, next one then. So brackets, well, we do have brackets, so we're going to do 5 plus 3 first is 8. And then we can do the multiplication, which is all that's left. So that means you're left with 9 times 8, which is 72. So your answer is 72 for that one. Okay, so it's always good to use these skills. So we're doing some division now. So we'll do it like this. So we want to divide 297 by 9. Okay, so we want to ask ourselves, how many 9s go into 2? Well, obviously none. How many 9s go into 29? Well, 9, 18, 27. So we're going to get 3 into 29, but we've got 2 left over. So now we've got 27. How many 9s go into 27? Well, 3 do. So our answer is 33. Okay, on to the next one then. So we want to see how many 5s go into 420. So how many 5s go into 4? Well, none. How many 5s go into 42? Well, we're going to get 8, aren't we? Because 8 times 5 is 40. But we've got 2 left over, which means how many 5s go into 20? Well, that's 4. So our final answer there is indeed 84. Okay, so up next, we're finding the next 2 terms in this sequence. So we need to find out what is the difference between these numbers. So we can see that there's 8 difference here, there's 8 difference here, and there's 8 difference here. So that means that we're going to add 8 each time. So the next number is going to be 48, and the number after that is going to be 56. Okay? If you were clever, you could have found the nth term for that as well. Okay, so remember you find the nth term by putting the difference first and then the letter n, and then asking yourself, how did you get from 8 to the first number? Well, I added 8, okay? So therefore, 8n plus 8 would be our nth term if we wanted to make it a little bit harder. Next one then, find the next 2 terms in this sequence. Okay, so for this one, we're taking away 5 each time, as we can see. So that means the next one, we're going to do 22 minus 5, which would be 17. And then we're going to take away 5 again for the next one, which would be 12, okay? So once again, you could have found the nth term for that if you wanted. So, on to question 9. It says find 20% of £240. So first of all, we're going to find 10%. So, to find 10% of something, all you do is divide by 10. So you can just take off that 0. So 10% equals £24. And then to find 20%, all we have to do is double it. So we would have 48 as our answer there. Okay? Now this one's even easier because we're just finding 10%, so we're just going to divide 760 by 10, okay? So 10% equals 760 divided by 10, which equals £76, okay? Next one then says write down the value of the figure 1 in 61,800, okay? So the way we do this, we figure out which column it's in, okay? So the 6 represents 60,000. The 1 is in the thousands column, so it represents 1,000. 8 represents 800, okay? So you basically just take away the rest of these digits and add in the 0. So the 1 accounts for 1,000 in this case. Okay, so for this one, it wants the value of the figure 8. So the 8 is here. So if we say it, 86,902, I know that this is in the 10,000s column, so therefore it is worth 80,000. Okay? So it says express this as a mixed number. Okay, so we've got a top-heavy fraction and we want it as a mixed number. So we're asking ourselves, how many 5s go into 7? Well, I'm going to have 1 5 going into 7, and I'm going to have 2 left over. Okay? So that's how I do it. I ask myself, how many of the bottom number go into the top number? That number goes here. However many is left over goes as the numerator to the fraction on the side. So for this one, how many 4s go into 17? Well, 4, 8, 12, 16. We're going to have 4. And then we've got 1 left over, so it would be 4 1/4. Okay? Next one then says simplify 11 to 55. Now a ratio, when we're simplifying it, we do exactly the same as we do for fractions. We find the highest number that goes into both and then divide both sides by it. Well, the highest number that goes into both of these is 11, so we can divide both sides by 11. 1 11 goes into 11 and 5 fit into 55. So that's that ratio simplified. This one, so 6 to the ratio of 66. Well, I know for a fact that 6 goes into both of them. So if I divide 6 by 6, I get 1. And if I divide 66 by 6, I get 11. So our final answer there is 1 to 11. Work out 7 times 10, okay? Not difficult. So we get the answer 70 for that one. So next one, we've got 39.9 times 1,000. So we're working with 3 zeros, so we want to move it forward 3 times. So if I move it forward once, that would be timesing it by 10. I'd get 399. If I do it again, that would be by 100. And one more would be by 1,000. So if I get rid of my decimal point, my answer is 39,900. Okay then, last couple on your lucky easy sheet. So we're going to have to, it says complete using, these symbols. So with these symbols, we want to know which one is bigger, okay? So imagine it's a crocodile and the big end faces the bigger fraction. So in order for us to figure this out, we are going to have a common denominator, okay? So to do that, we're going to times the bottom 2 together. So 5 times 2 is 10. So now we can put 10 on the bottom of both fractions. Now to get 5 to 10, I times by 2. I'm going to do the same to the top as well. So that makes 6. Now I've got 3/5 is the same as 6/10. Now this side, I times by 5 to get to 10. I did 2 times 5 to get 10. Same to the top, 5 times 1 is 5. Okay, so now I know that this one is bigger, don't I? Because 6/10 is bigger than 5/10, so I can draw my symbol this way. Last one then is actually a bit easier because so we've got 9 and 3 on the bottom, but actually I can make 3 into 9 really easily. I can just times that by 3, and that would make it a 9 on the bottom. And then I do the same to the top, so 3 times 1 is 3. So now I know that 1/3 is the same as 3/9. I can now see that obviously 6 ninths is bigger than 3 ninths. So my symbol would go that way. Okay, I hope you got 20 out of 20 on that one. I promise you we'll be back to our normal, slightly harder maths next week when I set you the correct sheet. Have a lovely weekend.